Okay, so we have 3 washes to the side, and also to put in this bottom, right? So it's lighter, medium, darker. This is a wash across there that I did not increase the darkness of the wash, it's just overlaps. Now I'm going to paint the colors into the picture, and I've mixed up a viridian green, a lighter cobalt blue, and a little bit darker cobalt blue. And I'm going to start with the viridian green, and I'm going to put that in the light. Yeah, and I'm going to take that across. And now I'm going to paint my medium cobalt blue into that. And it is on a curve, but because it's the green straight into the blue, you won't see it. Now the whole rest of the picture is going to be this medium cobalt blue until I get down to that darker place. So it just takes time. I reduce the size of my brush so I can be more focused. So this first color wash of green into cobalt blue, now I'm going to go into the darker blue. At least I hope it's darker, a little bit darker. And I did that, you notice, above the darker gray, because I'm always trying to create transitions. Now the thing is with blue, blue goes on darker and then dries lighter. So you might think you have a dark blue, but when it dries, it's disappeared. All right, I'm taking this blue down a little bit lower. And I'm going to put that dark blue along the bottom. The brightest part of the reflection is in the center of it. I'm going to use a dry brush on the bottom of that, not a waterline, but a dry brush. So you're going to do that. You're going to move out a little bit with the green. Then you're going to do your medium blue. Then you're going to do your darker blue. And the only other thing that you're going to do is leave a few spaces in your wash. And I'll show you that next time after this is dried, so that there can be some lighter places, but you don't need too many of them. So here is the second wash, going out about 2 centimeters. Still quite straight. And again, we're just building up transitions. One more transition over here. And then I'll do one more smaller one before I start painting blue. I won't show you the third one. You can imagine how it's going to go, so you don't need me to show you. Here is an example of a finished cobalt blue, and for your first try, obviously it doesn't have to be like mine, but there are some things that we're aiming for, particularly in the cobalt blue exercise, and it is to see through the light, so that this feeling of transparency, and that the light is in front of that, which is why we did the straight edges in front of our developed cobalt blue. So we also need a reflection, and you have to line it up, but I've got green in my light, so the actual white, there is a little bit of white here. It's probably 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters, or 3 by 1.5. And there's a little bit of white here. Otherwise, all of the rest has color on it. So it's really important not to leave a very white light, because that doesn't work with this transparency. To check your work, you should be able to go across and go darker, medium, lighter, medium, darker. Lighter, medium, darker. Yes, and then essentially lighter, medium, darker. And that doesn't include the reflection. And the reflection, you should also be able to go lighter, medium, darker. So that's the logic of the exercise. And when you're doing it, as I said, you have to think it out. You can't just hope that it works out. As far as the width of the light and how the reflections work. And at the end, it should look like there's about 1, 2, 3 main ones. There can be little more transparent ones. So while you're doing a cobalt blue exercise, as I said, our inner reflective activity is being stimulated. And if we think a lot, or we have anxiety, or we're restless, that will come into our picture. Then we'll have many, many sharp edges everywhere, or it won't feel peaceful. The exercise should feel peaceful. It should have this feeling of inner quiet, because it's only when we're inwardly quiet that we can truly hold a thought. And that's part of a meditation exercise. I used Viridian Green, Cobalt Blue, or Ultramarine Blue, sometimes it's called, and Grey. That's all I used. Those greys I used in the beginning, I never went back and put grey on. I only used the blue, because the picture should have a feeling of blueness, even if the reflections are greenish. So you have to keep painting till it feels blue. It shouldn't feel grey. It shouldn't feel green. Yes, it shouldn't be too much green. It may be that I actually have to put some blue over this so that there's not too much green here. So you don't know how to do this exercise because you've never done it before. So all of this work is practice. We're practicing. If you only do this exercise once, then you really haven't learned much, because you have to do it over and over and over again until it becomes an inward feeling. So the first time you do it, it's hard. And some of you may be too complicated, and some of you may do it too simplistically, where it's doesn't have this transparency. But you're not wrong when you do it and it's not yet cobalt blue. It's just an exercise on the path to finding cobalt blue. So take heart, and we need cobalt blue to balance out our red. And everything in this picture, as I said, the light has to be in front with nothing blocking it. If these reflections feel like they came in front, then it's not cobalt blue. Or if the darkness goes and blocks down here, it's also not yet cobalt blue. So I hope you enjoy the exercise. I always like doing cobalt blue because it's, as I said, inwardly quiet. You can become very inwardly quiet.